Man, what's up, world? It's your boy, the Toothless Wonder, back with another video. Yeah, and me. So I was just thinking, just reflecting on, life and various trials and tribulations, things of that nature. And I came to this pivot. I'm like, yo, dang, yo, the kid done ducked some shots over the years, proverbial ones, and a few real ones. Uh, and I've heard people say, rejection is for your protection. But then when you trying to do things, you know what I'm saying, or you got some type of, and I do this, I got this idea of what I want to see happen or whatever the case may be, and it don't pan out. But then later on down the road, I'm like, oh, I'm glad that didn't pan out. I'll give you a case in point, right? And this is kind of a funny story. But to the other individual, it wasn't funny at the time. So at that time, I'm starting to phase out of like, the whole season of going back and forth to jail, right, for doing stupid stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? Uh, just didn't want to take any personal responsibility. Back then, I used to blame the man for everything, but it's not the man's fault. You know what I'm saying? I don't get up till 2 in the afternoon because I've been drinking. That's not his fault, though. You know what I'm saying? So I was about on the tail end of that. So I was in this particular real tight probation situation where essentially they was going to lock me up for not having no money. So I said, I can't go out like this. And I'm living deep in the country. Like, it might take me an hour to ride my bike in town. That's how deep in the country I was. So I said, man, I can't go out like this. Y'all got to try something, yo. So I ended up, got a couple hustles or whatever. I got up like $40. So I'm going back to the DMV area, as y'all may know it, if y'all not from this area. But these are like country shuttle buses to get to the Annapolis, Baltimore metropolitan area, right? So I leaves out like 6 in the morning. It takes me all day to get back there. You know what I mean? Like it's dark. It's like 8, 9 o'clock. By the time I caught the last bus leaving this side of Maryland to go across the Bay Bridge to get to Annapolis. But I'm feeling, and I'm sipping on the way, of course. And I always like one of my priority or the priority is freedom. So I'm sipping a little bit. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make something happen, even though I don't know what I'm gonna do, right? So I think I got to where, the general area where I know people, stuff like that. But I don't have no type of game plan. Just get over here and I'll figure it out once I get there. So I think, I'm walking around drinking, I'm feeling good though. Got my radio, got my good tunes, you know what I'm saying? So I think I end up crashing in like an abandoned house that night or something. Wake up, I go to McDonald's. Uh, on my way to McDonald's, I end up running into a partner I used to work with on the trash truck. So me and him get to chopping it up. He said, yeah, we hiring. I called a man right down on the side of the road. He said, yeah, you can start Monday. One down, okay. But okay, that's the main thing, job, finance. Where am I laying my head at? Then he tell me about my people from Louisiana. They was actually living around the corner from, on the side of the road we were talking about. And because like they kind of like real Louisiana, I don't know exactly where they live at. But if I'm in the area, I'll be able to tell. Because, it's just how they like, I'll just be able to tell. So I guess with them, woo the woo, everything copacetic. I'm back on deck. I end up putting a couple of young homies on, you know what I'm saying? Make some money, you know what I mean? Do, whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm back on deck. So the lady I was living with at the time, her and her man broke up. Now, of course, it wasn't not like that. I'm always the outsider slash friend of the family. So, of course, he ain't think, like, none of my homeboys have ever thought anything like that. She has a few sons. Now, at this time, I might be 24. They might be just getting legal age, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of like the surrogate big brother. But I tell them like certain stuff I went through, like, nah, I don't do that, cause like they never fell into drinking or smoking or nothing crazy. They've seen me do some super spectacular stuff on the Bama tip, right? So they'll end up reminding me of this particular story, which goes into me dodging bullets, right? So, I'm working, I rectify my, or stabilize my probation, you know what I'm saying? Back on deck, I actually started going to church, and this was the last time I actually actively went to church because of the wickedness I seen them. Like, okay, I'll get into this. Uh, they had started going to the church before me. So what happened was, um, they were like common law married, but in their mind they were shacking up. So people trying to do right, you trying to follow leadership, right? So they convinced my homeboy to move out, and his sister had came up from Louisiana, but they were living somewhere else. So he moves in with her. But that was the move because Prior to me getting there, he had like a couple accidents on the trash truck, and he was due, a nice sum of money. So they separated them using doctrine because I think the pastor's wife's daughter, she worked for the NSA or something. That's real big in that area. Um, she was going through some whatever. So they were trying to put them together because it looked good, like on paper or whatever. But had to separate my man from his common law wife. So they ended up facilitating that move. And I actually saw the stuff she went through. And she would still go to church. Nobody would speak to her. Now she would, the church woman. But of course, that didn't last. He ended up having a baby with her, and that fell apart. Then he moved. Whole other story, right? But in the midst of this happening, she has homegirls coming by the house, da da da. So normally I be in my own zone. Like I say in my speak, but I ain't really like, on some type of trying to get with somebody. I'm just, thankful I'm in a, I got my feet underneath of me. So now she would say like little flirty stuff, and I might flirt back unintentionally. But again, I'm not taking her serious, and I knew this particular woman previously. But at this time, I'm about 24. She's 35. You know what I'm saying? Not understanding to a degree, and she has 7 kids. All of them, but one were by the same dude. One dude, was a victim of homicide, and the other one was doing 35 in the penitentiary. And I like kids, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't understanding the cultural, I'm just thinking along my lines or my sphere of perspective, not understanding when you do that or engage yourself with a single mother, like, typically you're the last man on the totem pole. You don't get no respect. You gotta do everything for them. They don't do nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not thinking along the line, because at that time, or during my Gulliver's travel, most of the women that I knew or interacted with or seen already had kids. This is normal. So again, in my young mind, if this is all you see, you're not thinking of, you know what I'm saying? It's just the norm. At least in my mind it was. So I'm not thinking about that. And I'm thinking about the fact they ain't got no father. And the fact I wasn't no super spectacular nigga at the time, but I do care. And I'm not going to lead you astray. You know what I'm saying? So even with females I've dealt with in the past, I might not talk to her for a minute, and then through a third party, or now as time progressed on, like the kids still remember. You know what I'm saying? Like the kids still speak about me in glowing terms. You know what I mean? So I guess that means something. Or just seeing how they treat their mom, or whatever the case may be, right? So we end up I was playing dumb, I guess, and I guess we end up like hooking up or just conversing. But I ain't taking it serious. I'm just kind of focused on what I'm focused on. So then I'm like, okay, well maybe whatever. She seemed cool, you know what I'm saying? Da da da. So we end up having this romantical evening, which I do have a very I'm an old soul, so I got like a deep romantical streak. You know, uh, I'm real big on like that bond and that intimacy. You know what I mean? Between two humanoids. You know what I'm talking about? Granted, nowadays it's hard. You hard pressed to find somebody to do that with. Cause it seems like everybody just want to get taken around the back of the dumpster. You know what I'm saying? Like I really don't find folk or female, especially on the Negro side of things, that I feel like they like me being in their presence. It make me want to be, for lack of a better word, chivalrous to a degree, or you know what I mean. Put on my good silk shirt. You know what I mean. Get on my pootie tang tip. I miss getting on my pootie tang tip. You know what I'm saying. Let me bring it to my world. You know what I'm saying. My Damie Watertown, the Patty side. You know what I'm saying? Man, when I'm in that mode, man, it bring the best out of the dude, boy. I'm trying to done told you. But anyway, so we having this romantical evening. And I was drinking them, but I wasn't super blown with it. Because I was living so deep in the country, I couldn't drink nowhere. So I might drink a couple beers after work and then shut down. I'm getting up like 4 in the morning or whatever. So we had this romantical evening. I played, I had the Al Green greatest gospel hits, got that interlude in the background. I'm in my zone. So, you know what I'm saying? We do what grown folk do, right? So okay, cool, boom, right? But in the midst of me saying, like, of us having this particular evening, I think we got to talking about marriage just in conversation, not me saying I'm a marrier. Um, but I'm not, whatever. And then I think she was thinking I was green, right? And maybe to a degree I was. But here's where, like, now I got a better understanding. Whatever I said, I meant it. However, I wasn't taking into account the weight my words held, right? So, so I go to work, boom, come back, take a nap. She coming downstairs, wake me up, shake me, you know what I'm saying? Come on, Cal, we gonna get the marriage license. She rolls out. Well, of course, I'm asleep, so I'm like, and it take a second for it to get, through my cranium and what she said. And I said, boom, I pop up, bang. I start shadow boxing. I drop down, did a couple push-ups. I'm like, oh, snap, this the real deal Holyfield, yeah. Whoa, now. Now, mind you, I don't want to do this. But I done said it out my mouth, or at least I think I did. But then here's another one. People think you drink, they'll just say you said something, hoping you don't remember what did you say it or not. So I'm like, all right, cool, boom. But I ain't feeling it. My spotty sense tingling before I even knew I had one. So her homegirl that I was living with at the time take us to Baltimore. So I'm in the back seat. Now I'm nervous than a mug. If you scared, say you scared. Nah, I'm petrified. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm trying to make a little nervous small talk in the back. They ain't paying me no mind, folk. They passing bridal books back and forth and high-fiving and whatnot. It's like I'm just along for the ride. So I'm like, man, I ain't feeling this. So I'm playing the game how it go. And eventually I'm going to get into how keeping it real go wrong. So we gets to the courthouse. That was strike one. Gets to the courthouse. And in my mind, I seen gargoyles on top of the building and bats circle. Now, whether they were actually there or not is beside the point. That's what I seen, right? This is not the picture of me. Now, we're not going to get married. We're just getting the marriage license. But in my mind, it's all the same thing. So I'm like, yo, this is not how I envisioned this, yo. But I'm playing the game how it go. Walks. I believe it was the East Side courthouse, if I ain't mistaken. Walks in the courthouse. I swear, I seen chicken bones in the floor. I seen like spider webs in the corner. I said, no, this ain't it, yo. It's like I'm in my mind. I'm stepping into my own execution, yo. But I'm going in there like a G though. So we sit in front of the little court official man, whoever he was. So this is where keeping it real go wrong, right? So we were missing some piece of documentation that we needed to get the marriage license. So when he verbalizes this, in my mind, oh, I can keep faking the funk. Nobody know I'm scared in the mud, and I got some more time to play this out, right? So at the time when he says this, I'm holding her hand, she to my right. So at this time, like I said, I was on the tail end of like getting locked up. So I had memorized all these like poems I wrote or I seen other people write and it spliced them all together. So when he tells her we couldn't get the marriage license, so I'm looking at him like, your eyes are like the Nile River in the spring as our love blooms into, the heat of passion. Or some old wild stuff I came up with, right? Here's where keeping it real go wrong. I lays it on. Now, mind you, I'm good to go. And I think that's in the art of war. Like, once you got the victory, leave it alone. So I was like, supposed to be, boom, whatever, all right, cool. We get up out of Dodge. No, I want to lay it on thick. I want to perpetrate a fraud. Oh, okay. So look, I lays it on so thick in the camp. The court official say, hey, you guys remind me of me and my wife when we got married 30 years ago. So whatever document we was missing, he said he was going to check it off that we had it. And he said, you can get the marriage license today. When he said today, that joint echoed inside my head. Today. Hey, hey, hey. Look, so she's to my right, right? So when he said today, now mind you, I'm done. My goose is cooked. But I'm kind of a squirmy type Negro. Like Malcolm X used to teach, by any means necessary. I'm finna make the ends justify the means here. So I'm holding her hand right when he say today, and my hand just kind of go limp. I slowly pan to the left, and I say, Mickey Mouse, is that you? And then I faked the seizure. Fell out on the floor, faked the seizure. Boom. Blah, blah, making all these weird noise. I'm twitching on the floor. I'm doing like this. I could have won an Oscar. I performed in the Camp So Love. So I'm in that joint. Now I'm in it to win it. I got to play the game how it go. So I'm down. I don't even know how long I was down there. But I was down there long enough. Like, how you can feel people around. I felt like wasn't nobody in the room with me, right? Now, mind you, we in the courthouse. So I get up off the floor, look around. I said, I don't know where nobody at, but on the other side of the door is like the main hallway, people, doing whatever, right? So I said, hey, but I'm still behind enemy lines, though. I'm gonna have to play this joint all the way out the door. You understand me? I think I just flung the door open. Get the. I tell the people I'm hollering. I can't see. I'm bumping into the wall. Again, I'm making all these weird noises. At one point, I grabbed a policeman. I grabbed him. I said, I don't know my name. Now, mind this Baldwin, he just looked at me up and down. He just kept it moving. I'm flailing around some more. I can't see. Where I'm at. Help. Somebody call the ambulance. I'm hollering in the jump. So as I'm performing, right, trying to, zigzag my way to the exit, I see it was like they looked like they was like maybe like a Middle Eastern couple. And they were just smiling at me, right? I said, oh, let me go there and give them some love. So I get to tipping on over there to them, making all these noises. I said, yo, y'all got some cereal? Finally, I hear Calvin, come on here. The girl, home girl. I said, Calvin, who that? She grabbed me like this here. Come on now. I said, I'm being kidnapped. Human trafficking. Help. Police. Ooh. So she get me out the door. I want to go out the door anyway, right? Gets out the door. So mind I'm safe now, but I might well keep playing. Shucks. So this is a little highway. I think that's North Avenue if I ain't mistaken. I'm flailing around. I'm stopping in the middle of they gotta come get me, grab me, take me across the street, all that stupid stuff. Get in the car, get on the road. Now I'm back straight like this here. And I can see her like looking at me through the rear view, just shaking her head like, just mystified as to my behavior and how cool I am now. So I break the ice with, hey, y'all hungry? My treat. Crickets. All right, fair enough. Get back to the house. I'm back to I'm laying back down before I was so rudely interrupted. Next thing I know, I don't know how much time went, maybe a half hour or so, I hear hysterical laughing upstairs. Next thing I know, her oldest son, he was probably like 18, 19. If I was 24, he was probably about 18 or 19 at the time. I hear do. He tumbles down the steps, swing the door open. Man, I know you didn't. Yeah, yes I did. I'm like the mystical. Did I do it? Effing right I did it. Yeah, I'm all right. You see where I'm at? So they call yourself teasing you. I don't care nothing about that. I wasn't ready. I kept my heart. I wasn't ready. So she ain't talked to me for like 2 weeks, after that. Then eventually, like I explained to her, thought you were trying to set me, or, I wasn't ready. It was like you were just bringing me along, not with that. You know what I'm saying? Then we proceed on, right? But I'm saying that to say this. And we were off and on for probably about 3 years or so, 3 or 4 years, maybe 5. But ultimately, as time proceeds on, you know what I mean? Like, I'm 40, next month I'll be 42, which means she'll be 53. And just, not understanding the game. That's why I think, male guidance is well needed, because these females are proud of the fact you ain't got no father figure, or if you do have males around you, they're operating in stupidity. No one's giving you the real game. No one's giving you the nuances of the game. So you think when you're younger and you mess with an older woman, it's like, yeah, it's because I'm a man, just that. No, she's preying on you. Because nobody her age sees any value in her. That's why we typically see this in the black community where, 30, 40-year-old black women end up dealing with younger dudes or dudes who just getting out of jail, because the dudes their age have already all had them at some point, or they just don't see the value in them. So they either, go online and rebrand themselves and tell some wild story to some dude who don't live nowhere near them, or they have to date down, because anybody who has the ability to date them would probably date better. You see what I'm saying? So that was just a quick one about just how I dodged the bullet. You know what I mean? And then at that time, let's say we do get married, then I'd have been in it to win it. But then I'd have lost all my leverage, and I ain't had nothing to begin with. You see what I'm saying? But nobody teaches you this. Like say they went through a whole bunch of divorces and all that, but they don't explain to you how the culture changed. You see what I'm saying? So they'll bait you in or give you advice that will funnel you into the same issues they had, and then say, oh, to be a man, you just bow down to it instead of avoiding it. So when you start avoiding certain pitfalls, or you have a certain amount of freedom, such as I do now, whatever, and you don't live the typical, I guess, life they promote to you, and you're in good spirits, your mental health is good after enduring trials and tribulations of the fiery kind, and it hasn't changed you, but it's actually made you better. It's almost like, it's so crazy. It's almost like, now if you don't know, you don't know, but it's almost like the older generation is sacrificing us to the system. Like say with me, I'm ready to start working in the school system and with middle school age kids. Now of course you plant seeds, but and I'll be able to figure out how to move and groove and still stick with the curriculum, but slide in some real gems and knowledge, from big cuz, you know what I'm saying? Your cool cuz who got a whole bunch of issues or had a whole bunch of issues, but he's still super cool though. He done been through it all, you know what I'm saying? And one of the things I'm promote, free thinking, think for yourself, creativity. You're not bound by it. And then these kids are probably gonna have what they call IEP, so they already probably got some type of label on them that'll try to stop their, or stunt their academic growth, or what kind of class they can take. We ain't doing none of that. Now, of course, I ain't in there yet. I'll be doing a whole bunch of training next week, but we gonna see. Like, I'm gonna get on the inside, uh, almost like God's secret agent, and we're gonna figure out. Well, I'm gonna figure out how I can get these kids out of there and back in the record, which whatever. But you don't want we don't want the label of, it's no different. I'm thinking, and again, I'm gonna be open minded, but it would lead credence to this particular institution I'll be employed by if we get a group of kids who have whatever behavioral learning issue they got. If we can put them back into regular school because now they're back on deck, doesn't that mean we're a hellified institution? But I hope it ain't one of them type situations where, yeah, we want progress, but we don't want to put them back in regular school because then that'll be one less student. No, not in my book. And the other students that come to, you know what I'm saying? We get them out of here. And then when they get referred, they're like, yeah, and we gonna get you back on that. I'm gonna run my own Calvin's No Child Left Behind, because we ain't gonna bamboozle these kids out on my watch. But we'll see what happens, man. And on that, man, I'ma holler at y'all. Ooh-ah!